Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be reviewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 48-25 win versus the Atlanta Falcons. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers move to 2-0, and this was a very interesting game. Close through three quarters, but the Buccaneers pulled away in a big way in that fourth quarter, scoring 20 unanswered points, which we will talk about in a minute. But if you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button if you do enjoy these types of videos, and leave your thoughts about this game down in the comment section below. I would very much love to hear what you guys think. But the Buccaneers are 2-0. This is huge. This is absolutely awesome. I talked about how great it would be if the Buccaneers did start off 2-0, and they did just that. The Falcons played them tough. This Falcons team looked, a lot more competitive than what they did in week one versus the Eagles. We've talked about this. Division rivalry games are always going to be competitive and always going to be down to the wire, at least down into the fourth quarter like this game was, where it was a 3-point game basically at the end of the third quarter. So the Falcons hung tough for a while there, but the Buccaneers did pull away, like I said. We have a lot of good and some bad to talk about from this game. So the first guy that I want to mention on this good list is the man himself, Tom Brady. 24 of 36, 276 yards, 5 touchdowns, and count them, 0 interceptions. Tom Brady looked masterful in this game. He had some amazing throws, especially in the red zone. He looked really good. And I know he did miss a couple of throws, especially deep for guys like Antonio Brown or Mike Evans, but all in all, Brady did great. He did absolutely wonderful. He has 9 touchdowns through 2 games right now. He is on pace to just have some ridiculous passing touchdown numbers, and yeah, you best believe we are all here for it. And there were a lot of people who benefited from Tom Brady's amazing game today. One of them being Rob Gronkowski, who finished this game with 4 receptions for 39 yards and 2 touchdowns. He now has 4 touchdowns through 2 games. He's on a great pace as well. He is still continuing to look like old Rob Gronkowski, and it's been a great thing to see. He looks more athletic. He's going and big bodying safeties and cornerbacks. It's just been awesome. Point blank, he's been an amazing threat in the red zone. Tom Brady had a couple of really good throws to Gronk today in the end zone. All in all, great game by Gronk. Mike Evans, 5 catches, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him as well. Mike Evans had his rebound game. I talked about how that would have been a possibility earlier on in the week, and we did see that. Mike Evans, he had some good yardage. He did, I believe, have 1 drop, but in the red zone, he was an absolute threat along with Gronkowski. And this was a good bounce-back game for Evans. I was very pleased with what he was able to do in this game, and I think he's got a lot more room to grow and continue to have really solid games like he did today. Chris Godwin was another wide receiver who had a good game. 4 receptions for 62 yards and a touchdown. A pretty standard game, I think, for Chris Godwin, all things considered. He did have a drop as well, but again, he put up a very respectable stat line. It's always nice when your guys are scoring touchdowns, so good job to Chris Godwin there. Moving to the defensive side of the football now, and Ndamukong Suh, he had a really good game today. He finished with 3 total tackles, 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit, and a tackle for loss. Overall, not a bad game from Suh at all. Shaq Barrett had an interception, a tackle, and a pass deflection. The interception was pretty darn good in my opinion. I can't remember who had gotten their hand on it. I believe it was Vita Vea. So shout out to Vita Vea for that. He knocked the ball up into the air, fell right into the breadbasket of Shaq Barrett, and he was able to get an interception there. Carlton Davis had 9 tackles and 1 pass deflection. Shout out to him for that, because that was just an overall solid game for him. He was playing on a bad hamstring, but he came in. He wasn't targeted too much in my opinion. Overall, I thought he had a pretty good game. Vita Vea is also on this good list, not just for that pass deflection that resulted in the interception, but he had 5 tackles. He had a quarterback hit. He was applying a lot of good pressure throughout the game. He just looked good. I do want to say a shout out to Will Golston as well, because he did have a hit on Matt Ryan, which led to the first of 2 pick sixes in this game. Both of them were by my player of the game, Mike Edwards, who finished this game with 4 total tackles, 3 pass deflections, 2 interceptions, and 2 touchdowns. One of them came off of some really great pressure, a quarterback hit by Will Golston. One of them came off of a pass deflection by Carlton Davis. This was the game, this was the fourth quarter of Mike Edwards' life, basically, to get 2 pick sixes, and that's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pulled away in the fourth quarter. It was because of those 2 pick sixes by Mike Edwards. The Falcons went into the fourth quarter only down by 3 points, but then the 2 pick sixes by Mike Edwards had sealed their fate. So I'm going to give him a lot of credit for sealing the deal on this game and helping ensure the Buccaneers got a win to move on to 2-0. 2 more things I want to point out in terms of being good in this game. Bradley Pinion. He had 4 punts, 2 of them inside the 20. I don't know if he's going to be the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week this time around, but it might be possible, because the second punt that he had inside the 20, I believe, was one of the drives that resulted in the first of 2 pick sixes for the Falcons. So you got to give Bradley Pinion props to that, and he's just had a really good start to his season. So good job to the People's Champ for that. And then the run defense, they did a really, really good job today. 20 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown for the Falcons. That was only good for 2.8 yards a carry. Teams just don't run against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers anymore. They're passing the ball a ton. Matt Ryan had 46 passing attempts in this game. Dak Prescott, I believe, had 53 passing attempts last week. So overall, teams are just saying, look, we can't run against this team. It's just not going to work. So they've been passing the ball a lot, and the run defense showed up yet again in this game. Now for the bad stuff that happened in this game. Tom Brady did have a fumble. In my opinion, it wasn't his fault. He didn't even see the guy coming. It was a hit from behind on a sack given up by Donovan Smith. Tom Brady was sacked 3 times in this game. We will talk. One of them was given up by Donovan Smith. One of them was given up by Tristan Wirfs, and the third one we will talk about on its own in a minute. But, I am going to point out turnovers when they happen, regardless of whose fault it may or may not be. I'm not blaming Tom Brady in this situation, but a turnover is still going to go on the bad list any day of the week. So it is what it is. Leonard Fournette had a fumble as well. That one was entirely his fault. The Falcons didn't get their hands on the football, so I know what people may be saying is, well, James, Leonard Fournette, he almost had a 100-yard scrimmage. He ran the ball well today. So why is the Leonard Fournette fumble going on the bad list if the Falcons didn't get it? Again, even almost turnovers, I'm going to put on here if it is just an egregious almost turnover, right? If it's a bad play, it's a bad play. I have Tom Brady almost throwing a really bad interception on here as well. You just can't have plays like that. The interception from Tom Brady went right through the hands of the Falcons defender, so that is going to be here on the bad list. Need to clean up plays like that. Leonard Fournette can't have blatant fumbles like this. I'm just saying. The penalties were also an issue here. The Buccaneers had 9 penalties for 83 yards in this game. Some of them I feel were justifiable. Some of them I feel weren't justifiable. The referees have been a little iffy through 2 games with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in terms of penalties. So definitely keep an eye on that moving forward, because the Buccaneers, 2 games in, and they've had 9 penalties in week 2 and 11 penalties in week 1. That's not a good record, or not a good pace that you're going here in terms of penalties. So definitely keep an eye on that. We still need to see that improve. Ronald Jones was the other guy who had let up a sack on Tom Brady. It was on a blitz pickup. He completely whiffed on the situation. Deion Jones literally wasn't even touched by Ronald Jones, essentially, that led to the sack. We've got to get better at picking up the blitz. I know Leonard Fournette, I believe, did a good job of picking up the blitz. I didn't see Giovani Bernard do that a ton, but Ronald Jones, if he wants to stay in that game, he definitely has to do a better job of picking up on the blitzes. I saw some people say that Ronald Jones should just be on the bad list entirely. He had a terrible game. He really didn't. Ronald Jones had 6 carries for 27 yards. That's 4.5 yards a carry, only 0.2 less than Leonard Fournette. So I'm not going to put Ronald Jones on the bad list. He didn't have that bad of a game. He just had one bad blitz pickup. That is what it is. I'm sure he will work to correct that. It's one play, much like how the Leonard Fournette fumble is one play. So finally, the last thing on the bad list here is the lack of sacks from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rush. They had 1 sack throughout the game, 7 quarterback hits, which is pretty good, but I believe the Buccaneers pass rush has only had 2 sacks through 2 games right now. That has got to change. That has got to change. It makes it harder for the secondary, which, in my opinion, the secondary didn't have as bad of a game this time around as they did in week number 1. Were guys like Jamel Dean, I mean, not even so much Jamel Dean, but, were some guys picked on a little bit? Sure, maybe Ross Cockrell was a little bit, but overall, you've got to get more pressure. You've got to sack the quarterback. 7 quarterback hits isn't bad, but you've got to get more sacks. I saw Matt Ryan sidestepping rushers a good amount today. Matt Ryan, he has good pocket awareness. I get that, but you've got to finish on these plays. You've got to get these sacks because it helps out the secondary. It really does. The more time the quarterback has to throw, the more he can carve up a secondary. Teams are just kind of passing a ton because they know they can't run against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they know that they might have a little bit more time. This is the second game in a row now where this has happened. Hopefully, moving into week number 3, the Buccaneers pass rush can finally finish on some of these plays and get some sacks. Because are they generating pressure? Yes, they are. Are they getting quarterback hits? Yes, they are. But overall, these quarterbacks are doing a very good job standing in the face of pressure. Moving around in the pocket is a big thing as well that Dak Prescott and Matt Ryan were able to do. The Buccaneers just have to sack the quarterback. That's just point blank simple as it is. But overall, guys, that's it. That's all I've got for this video. The Buccaneers move on to 2-0. Absolutely huge in my opinion. I talked about how big of a deal that would be, and this is a very big deal. It gives the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a great start to the season. The Panthers are 2-0 as well. The Saints dropped to 1-1, and the Falcons are 0-2. So right now, at least at the start, Panthers and Buccaneers are battling for the top of the division right now, which, I didn't think I was going to be saying that, but that's what's going on. So that's awesome. The Buccaneers start off 2-0, and right now they're coming away from a pretty strong, win coming off of a really great fourth quarter from a guy like Mike Edwards with 2 pick sixes. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I will see you guys in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.